Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 6 of Kerbal Space Program Colonization, which originally aired live on Twitch. I have changed the mod loadout because Kerbal Space Program just turned 10 and as a result has updated for the last time. The update sort of broke MechJeb, but I wasn't really using MechJeb, nor do I think I'm going to need to. So MechJeb is now disabled. Let's recap. The very last hour of the last stream was ridiculous. Like, brown pants clenching ridiculous. So here we have Stelton, who we rescued. And that was the most terrifying rescue ever. If you're wondering about the patch notes, the game sort of built in now a MechJeb, but here we go. World first milestone, a rendezvous around Kerbal orbit, which was of course saving Stelton. And then we saved Stelton. Stelton is now part of the crew, and Stelton has been recovered for money and a little bit of science. All right. My plan today is to continue the milestones. So, in order to continue the milestones here, we are going to need to unlock a fair bit of science. There is some... so, if you take a look, any contract you can decline is not a milestone. Explore the Mun here is a milestone. Orbit and return to Kerbal from the orbit of the Mun. That there is not that difficult, I don't think. I don't think. So that's what we're going to be doing right at the start. I also wanted to remind everybody that the about command also signals that, yeah, I am rusty. I spent a whole bunch of time with the MKS mod today trying to understand it more fully, and I don't know if I'm really in a position to truly understand it all that well, but I will try. Dennis, thanks for the bits. So let's create a little Mun orbiter. If we take a look at the research and development tree, we now have a considerable amount of like the heavy rocketry stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's going to definitely make it easy. Is the text really small? Yeah, let me, I think the update might have nuked my UI scale that I had set up. Where is UI? Here it is. UI scale up to 200%. Whoa, okay. That might be for the legally blind. Let me go to 150. There, a little better, right? Okay. If you need it larger, let me know. Glitch, thanks for the bits as well. So we do have the ability to do patched conics. As you can see here, the next upgrade allows us to do maneuver tool availability. The maneuver tool is something new updated in Kerbal, which allows you to do planned maneuvers. And then if we take a look at the other upgrades here, the spaceplane hangar I've been basically neglecting. The astronaut complex's upgrade would allow me for more Kerbals. The R&D allows for surface samples, which would be really nice, and resource transfer, which would be really nice. So these are things that I would like to unlock at some point. But without a further ado, let's go ahead and build a little Mun orbiter. So I'm going to update my project here. Build Mun or Moon orbiter. Hope I'm spelling that right. So the orbiter here, all it really has to do is to orbit the moon and then return home, and it's going to be the Siona. So if I open up the other ships here, as you can see, they all had names after you guys. So the Siona Mark 1. All right, little Mun orbiter. One of the things I might try to do is to get into really low orbit of the Mun, so that I might be able to do some science. I will take a science junior as a result. Let's slap a parachute on the top there. Additionally, as you can see, there are these star shots. These are introduced as a result of the update as well. They're basically, well, I'll use them at some point, but let me get rid of them for now. So here is my, actually not even gonna need a nose cone. We're not going to be that heavy. Ooh, way too big. Do I not have small nose cone? Really? There's no, okay. Fine, I'll do a parachute because I really don't even have a nose cone that would be applicable. All right, and we're gonna come back with a service bay. Let me rotate this, and then this service bay is gonna have the science if we make it home. We have a really bad track record of burning up on our return flights, so I am hoping that that does not happen. So what I'm hoping to do is to build a vessel here that can orbit at a high orbit and then a low orbit, so that we could get different research. If you know, or if I research like KSB biomes, the thing with biomes is depending on elevation, they get different biomes. So Mun has a total of 17 biomes. 7 are uniquely named craters, and then let me see if I can't see the elevation. So there should be low orbit and high orbit. Let's see. Well, we'll figure it out. I'm trying to Google it, but maybe someone could Google it for me. So here's my little science craft. And then obviously underneath it, I'm going to want a thermal shield. I'm probably going to go for the extra large thermal shield. And then another thing I could do here is inside the service bay, let me add some batteries, because we have absolutely been running out of power on some of these missions. Now I'm going to be using non-solid fuel, which will allow us to refuel a bit better, but adding the power will be nice, because I also plan on adding inline reaction wheel. A tiny one, but one nonetheless. Glitch, thanks for even more bits. And Siona as well. Happy about the being having a rocket named after you, I suspect. All right. Okay. So at this point, we now have everything we pretty much need for the science bits. And the next important thing is going to be... do I want it shrouded? Nah. Yeah, I do. The next important thing is going to be sort of the delta V calculations to get us there and back. Bonep! Thanks for the bits as well. Almost missed the train to space? I know. I appreciate it. Alright, I'm not quite ready to go to the massive Rockomaxes, but I will do a larger one. This is a larger Rockomax. And I think what I'm going to do, despite the cost, is we're going to want a poodle here just for fuel efficiency. But as a little reminder, of course, these poodles, they do generate power, okay. But their thrust weight ratio is really, really, really bad. Oh, you know what? Thrust. Okay, yeah, I might just go skipper. I'm not sure. No, I'll go poodle. Skipper is a lot more thrust, but less efficient. All right, and then we will asparagus up this considerably. Seeing if there's any attachments that would... I should sort of sort this by width, but whatever. Let's asparagus up some additional stages here. Now, the portal of vectors, right? It's a vectoring engine. Yes. 5% angle, because the swivels won't vector. Oh, no, they do. It's the reliance that don't? Yeah, okay, it's the reliance that don't. So, let's put swivels in. And this is going to be an obnoxiously over-engineered ship, but again, I don't care. No, maybe not that much. Let's just do 4. 4 seems a little bit more reasonable. So there's the engines, and then the way that this needs to work, all these engines need to be on the same stage, and then the first ones that get shed are the sides, and then... Okay, so this is correct now. Let's save. And fuel line asparagus stage this. 1 to 2. And 1 to 2. Done. Asparagus stages are done. Let's truss it. I will truss it. I should do ×4. No, that was 3, because I can count. ×4. There we go. So, this is nice and symmetrical now. So these side stages here are for probably circulation. Okay, and then underneath this, what we could do is a decoupler. Again, over-engineered, but I love it. All right, decoupler. And that decoupler is staged correctly. Ooh, even better. I like the look of this a bit better. I have to fix some staging though, because I screwed everything up. The sides are first. Okay, there we go. We're also going to want winglets, but I'll focus on that in just a moment. Is there a way to... No. Okay. That's fine. Rockomaxes, and then down here is the skipper. Unless the Bobcat is more thrust. Nah. Skipper's more thrust. Alright, so there's the skip. The skip doesn't have enough thrust to weight, but I sort of figured it wouldn't, so I'm going to supplement that with solid fuel. And then I'm going to do a test run, which is not necessarily going to be my... Oh, nope. My actual run. This is just like a simulation without, you know, simulating it. All right, a little bit lower. So how's everyone doing? Hope everyone's week is going smooth. Okay, so thrust to weight is enough, and I think once we're airborne, it will be fine. So then let's strut these together, and then strut the rockets to the main fuselage. Done, and then up top as well, like that. Okay, it's janky, but it'll have to do. Crew. Stelton. You know, Bill hasn't gone anywhere, but he's not going to make a very good pilot. But I do want to send Bill up, so I could put a Staputnik here. Control point. Oh, no. Default. Okay, so yeah, let's Staputnik and send our engineer up for his maiden Mun voyage. I like it. It's a little weird, but I like it. Okay. My Delta V looks good. Save and launch. Total mass is too high. Yep, well, I'm not going to be able to afford to improve that, so let's try the regular old thumpers. That's not going to be a lot of thrust, though. But I guess it's not too massive. All right, we'll have to fix that. I don't know what the weight is. What is the weight? Okay, I have 17 tons to play with. And then let's do solid fuel. Now, the worry that I have is that the skipper alone won't be enough to thrust. Thrust to weight is really, really good, though. So let's limit the thrust a little bit. Thrust weight looks good. All right, so the staging is the small ones peel off, then the big ones, and then the skipper. Okay. All right. This should be good. This should be acceptable. It is about sitting at its maximum weight. So then let's strut everything together. And watch me epic fail in a blaze of fiery glory. I also might want to launch ladders or whatever they're called. So I'll probably slap them in too. Come on. Nope. Times 4. There we are. Save. My current weight is 139 out of 140 tons. Like I said, massively, ridiculously, unnecessarily over-engineered. And that is good. This will work. I mean, it will allow me to launch. I don't know if it will work. Let's put them here. Or maybe here. And then probably want some fins now that I'm looking at it. Although, one of the advantages I will have with this craft is I will have a vectoring engine right from the start. So that will help. I actually don't know where to put the tail fins, because if I put them there... whatever. Let's just send it. All right, so this is a test flight. I don't intend to actually go to the Mun on this one. And control from here. I don't even have SAS. Oh, this is sketchy. Bill, I hope you're worth it. I have to manually control this myself. It's just me, or is the rocket like extra loud? 4%. Really? That doesn't sound like 4%. 1%. Okay, I don't think that this is working. All right, let's try 40%. Okay, yeah. This slider is not doing anything. I went from 1% to like 100% or 50% because I don't want to blow out your ears. Hello? Rocket noises. I don't know. Well, what I could do is just lower the master and then bring that back up. That's acceptable. Okay, well, this stage is working. I don't like not having SAS. It's super sketchy. Not having automatic stability. Whoa! And this rocket is liking to wander. Ah! Quit it! Oh my god. Death spirals. Yes. Okay, thanks for death spiraling. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to revert to vehicle assembly, but I'm actually going to throw a pilot in here because I will bring Bill when I have stability control. So Stelton, how about you go? The beautiful thing is here, if I kill Stelton, not a big deal. She owes her life to me. It's kind of a grim way of looking at it. All right, so here we go. Can Bill go into the crew pod? I don't have a crew pod, and that would dramatically increase the weight of this vehicle, and this vehicle was at 139.9 out of 140 weight. So there's definitely not a weight allowance for that. All right, so my thrust to weight right now is actually less than, whoop, didn't mean to do that. But my thrust to weight there was actually less than 1. So I cannot or should not thrust limit down that much. So I'm going to go to thrust limit 65 and check that. I did, so the mods have been updated and I stripped out MechJeb, as you may have noticed. She looks concerned. You know how I rescued her from Mun's orbit? She's probably worried that I'm putting her back at Mun. What do you think, Yoda? We're gonna maroon her at Mun? Alright, my thrust to weight is still positive. It's still above 1 because I'm accelerating. So that was a good thrust limit change. Now the real worry is, will I have a positive thrust weight ratio when I shed the solids? That's the $64,000 question. And again, this is a test flight, and Micklemoose, I think you're right. I think I will not have positive thrust weight when I shed solids because I'm not that high up in the atmosphere yet. Nope. 0.81. Okay, reverting flight. And we will, the very obvious thing to do is to strip out that fuel that was up there, which will dramatically lighten the ship. I don't even care about aerodynamics. Now that would allow Bill to tag along, but Bill will tag along in the future. The future. All right, what is my weight? 33, so that puts me at 149, which is too heavy. I might do a 2-phase solid booster. I'm gonna see how that works. So these side rockets will blast off. Let me see. So the ones with the fins get dropped last. Yep. No, that's not what I meant to do. Come on. Oh no, that was right. My bad. So at the start, oh, nope. Again, I'm wrong. Okay, so at the start, what the heck? It will be the skipper and the 4 solid boosters on the side for a thrust to weight of just over 1. Ooh, sketch. And then after that, we drop those engines and launch the other solid boosters, and then drop those solid boosters. And our weight is 148, so what I need to do here is then to lower the fuel down to an acceptable level. Yep, there it is. Save. Thrust to weights are now a little bit better because I shed some weight, and then let's strut up the rest. Ugly strutting. Nope. Ugly little crafts. That's what I'm good at. A lot of choice words on on YouTube about how ugly my ships are. You hope they model aerodynamics in KSP2? Yeah. I hope well, my hopes for KSP2 are more simple. I hope KSP2 doesn't suck. Which is a, well, very, very low bar to meet. You know, another thing that I realized is, let's shed some additional weight. So if I'm setting up a pilot, I probably don't need any of this. I don't need the metal propellant. And let's see, utility, I'll slap that back on. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. So if you're wondering, for the new people that are just tuning in, this is nearly vanilla with just MKS, which is a colonization mod. And I haven't really been using the MKS mods, so this is for all intents and purposes, a totally vanilla launch. Except for the fact that in 7 days, Stelton here turns into a tourist, and 14 days she starts. I didn't really explain the hab and home. So the way that works is if your craft is very claustrophobic and the people in it aren't scouts. Scouts are immune to claustrophobia, or homesickness as it's called. The people that are you know, how to explain? After 7 days and 2 hours, Stelton here will revert from a pilot to a tourist, essentially not offering any benefit anymore. As a result of her claustrophobia, she'll rebel and do nothing. She won't work. So, you know, that's how that works. All right, so I have a thrust to weight of 1.7. I'm definitely climbing. I'm actually going to kill my liquid fuel for right now, which is something I probably could have been doing this whole time. Let me punch it a little bit just to give me some tilt. Alright, thrust to weight is positive with just the skipper at 18,000 meters, but not much. So the skipper here is just going to be burning, oh wow, I zoomed way up. It's going to be burning until it runs out of fuel, and then we'll stage to the next. So I just shed basically all my lifter stages. Alright, thrust to weight here. I don't need to do a full burn. I'll do a partial. And up, and away. I know it's not much to look at because I chose to launch at night. And every time I think because of the launch controls, every time I change map modes, it zooms me out like crazy. And we're almost ready to stage. First asparagus is gone. I'm just waiting for the Apple apps to hit about 70K. And then we'll circularize. I'm going to do a little bit more than 70K. That'll do. Add maneuver. Whoa, too much. I'm going to start to circularize now. Oh, come on now. And now we're down just to the skip. This isn't exactly the maneuver I want. I don't need the Apo. 50K, 90K. Okay, that will do. So, here we go. Curvature of Kerbin. How you doing, Stelton? So I have about 3,700 Delta V. I don't know what I'll have left after circularization. I'm a little worried about the portal engine not being able to circularize me, so I'm going to not aim at the maneuver node, just to make sure that I'm not going to dip back into the atmosphere, because that wouldn't be good. The rocket looks like you. The Siona rocket. Oh, let's not go upside down now. There we go. You flatten that out. Alright, and another maneuver. There's the circularization maneuver. It takes a 7-second burn. The burn will be in 1 minute and 5 seconds. So with like about T-minus 5 seconds, we'll kick it off. And this is a very crude circularization. That's probably good enough. Cancel? 70, yep. All right, so 74K and 77K. Perfect. Next up, our mission calls for us to orbit Mun. So we are going to need to do a home and transfer. And if we plan it right, if we burn at the right time, we can go at like the bare minimum burn for it, which would be about here. Burning here gets us there at a bare minimum. Now, what I want to do is I want to have like a lower orbit, though. So there we go. Something like that. 300 and something K periaps. Okay. That will do. So one of the new features is... Here, let me quick save. One of the new features in the update is an alarm clock. So here we go. I'm not great at using these, but what I could do is add a alarm for the upcoming maneuver. And warp to next. Okay, perfect. And now we warped to the maneuver. Delete and close. I purposely added in the sound there, just so that you could hear it. Okay, burn time is about 50 seconds, so about 30 seconds T-minus 30 seconds or so, I'm going to start. And sorry about the panic. Burn. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well. I'm always a little on edge playing Kerbal Space because things can go so epically wrong. And I never feel like I'm playing well enough for you all. So there's that. Kerbal Space Program is one of those types of games where I think it's best played if like that's all you're playing, you know? You're just exclusively playing Kerbal Space Program and nothing else, and my schedule doesn't really allow for that, which means I never really feel proficient. So here is the transfer burn. Let's feather the last few. Now, one of the things to note is, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Changes that you make further away from a target affect the results in a more meaningful way. So the more I can adjust how close I get to the moon now, I save myself a lot of fuel correcting for it later. Think about it, yeah. I perhaps am not smart enough to explain better. But if I want to intercept the moon, burning in like 3 minutes to adjust my intercept is going to save me a lot more fuel. I'll even try to demonstrate. So let's say I wanted to bring my periapse to a clean 400K. Adjusting now costs me, let's say, about 24 delta V, 24 meters per second delta V. If I adjust later for it, much later, if I wanted a clean 400K, oh goodness. I think at some point it would be impossible because I'm just too close. So let me see if I can't maneuver. Go away. Go away. If I just later for it. No, that's the wrong direction. It would cost me. Actually, doing it this way is a bit different, but it would cost me more. The sooner that you set yourself up, the better. All right, I'm going to warp to here, which puts me within the time to orbit. And then, essentially, at the periapse, I'm going to want to circularize. It will be a high orbit, but yeah, minor adjustments now make major changes further along. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So for this contract, all I really have to do is to orbit the moon. And that's pretty easy to do. All right, what I'm going to do is do a just barely orbiting for a minimum burn. And there it is. That's what that looks like. So let's use the alarm clock again. So if I want to use the alarm clock, I click on the maneuver, hit the alarm clock. I'm not going to do an alarm this time. Apply changes. It's in 45 minutes. I accelerate time. Also, another thing I wanted to do is to take a look at my my batteries and all that, making sure I don't run out of power. So, time warped. Oh yeah, my power's fine. Okay, the burn time is only like 3 seconds. And voila. We're now technically orbiting, which means I have completed that contract. Explore the Mun, now completed. We have entered the orbit of the Mun. And what I'm going to do, let me quick save. Mac, thanks for the bits. And Squeaky, thanks for the resub. All right, so what I'm going to do here is, let me raise the master volume up, and then maybe reduce ambience. Done. All right, let's go to the Space Center and see if there's any missions that I can pick up that I might be able to fulfill while I'm here at the moon. Mission control. So bring a Munstone back. I can't do that anytime soon. There's multiple rescues from orbit, ferrying people to fly by the moon and then orbit Kerbin, which is obnoxious, given it's good money though. So no. Oh, you know, I have to return to Kerbin from orbit to complete that. So that's why it's yeah. All right, so let's continue. And no, I have not landed yet. Oh, let's also terminate Stelton's pod, which is just debris at this point. All right, Siona, we're gonna keep flying. I've not landed yet. I've just orbited. So at this point, what I want to do is to see if I can do any science. So I only have one material bay, but here's space high over moon for 50. And let's close that. And then the goo for 20. The pressure data, which won't matter because I'm in the vacuum, and temperature data. I think I've already done this one, so temperature and pressure yields me nothing. All right, the next thing I wanted to do at the next apoaps is to bring my periaps real low, basically scraping moon so that I can get a low orbit science readings, and then I'll return home. Okay. So, nope. Give me an alarm clock. Warp. I like the alarm clock, but I don't really see how it's all that different than the right-click warp to here, unless, of course, you're using multiple ships, because you can have them set off alarms and all that. Okay. This burn requires seconds, and all I'm looking to do is bring my periaps down frighteningly low so that we buzz by the moon at like low orbit. Okay, there we go. 33,000 seems fine. And let's warp to here. I also have to be considerate of the habitation and supplies timing, because in about 4 days, she rebels and stops being a pilot and becomes a tourist, which wouldn't be good. So now I'm in low orbit. So it's space near the Mun, which is a different science experiment. Now the only catch is, oh, and there, atmospheric scan near the Mun. Let's do 2 of those. Actually, I'm going to overwrite these because they didn't have information on them. Close. Let's do a crew report. And then EVA. Oh, this is sketchy. And then do an EVA report. And board. And now we are ready to go home. So what I need to do is to break from the influence of the moon. And as you can see, depending on when I choose to do the burn, it significantly changes the orbit, right? Because I'm going to want to burn in such a way that my periaps is low. So like this burn here that I just set up a maneuver for is 100 delta V burn, which puts me at a 30,000 meter periaps of Kerbin. Which is enough to have me land. So that's like almost, oh, okay, there we go, 3,000 meters up. So that is a maneuver that is super simple to do, and will get me home. All right, alarm clock go away. World first, a spacewalk in the orbit of the moon. Okay, yeah, I did that. Okay, let's warp to the maneuver. Done. And then get ready to do this next burn. I'm going to quick save. So the point of making satellites in this game, I'll explain one after I do this maneuver because I don't want to screw this up. But it's essentially to analyze the resources of the planet. So, for instance, I have a contract to get a moonstone, and I'm not going to be able to find a moonstone without satellites. And then if I ever want to colonize the moon, I need to know where there's water, where there's soil, where there's regolith or dirt, possibly uranium, depending on how I want to power up my hab. And you can't know those things either without satellites. So satellites actually do play a very significant role, allowing you to analyze the planet's surface for resource gathering, habitability, all that stuff. So if I'm just trying to farm for a long-term habitat of the moon, I would be looking to find water and soil. If I want to turn it into like a gas station, that's a different project. Okay, let's change focus. How do I reset focus other than tab? Whatever, I just tabbed my way through it. Okay, taking a look at the hab. I'm a little worried about her turning back into a tourist. I'm not worried about her starving. And it seems to me that my periapse now is like on crash course with Kerbin, which is fine. I have a big old heat shield. And actually, I have 2,000 Delta V left, which honestly would have been probably enough for me to have landed on the moon and taken back off, but I don't have a contract to do that, so I'm not doing it for free. Are the resources vanilla? Yeah, there's been resources in vanilla Kerbal Space Program for years and years and years, honestly. But it was almost entirely just ore for fuel purposes, so that you could make your own fuel. So what I'm doing right now is I'm raising up my periapse with my Delta V, so that I actually might be able to land near Kerbal Space Center, which would be pretty cool. It would be one heck of a flex for me to fly so close to the moon that I could almost touch it and then land back in my backyard. All right, I like that burn. Nope. Water and soil is a result of the mods that I have installed, by the way. The two mods. Well, I'm definitely on a re-entry here. Yeah, here we go. Trying to get as close to Kerbal Space as I can. I'm going to retrograde burn the remaining of my fuel. And we are going to start to burn up. Goodbye. All right, let's point to retrograde. And I'm going to quick save, which is probably a terrible idea as I'm re-entering. So Kerbal Space Center is right here. And YOLO? I don't like this part. There it is. I can see it. Come on. Hit the atmosphere a little harder. Because we are not... Oh, there we go. Now we're slowing down. I have way too much abaliter in this. But honestly, that's probably a good thing, considering where I'm going. So I've overshot Kerbal Space Center a little bit. It's here. But it will definitely be close enough for a considerable amount of money return. Considering it came from the moon on a very janky, thrown-together rocket, I'm okay with this. And I think it's F11. Yeah, F11 turns the temperature overlay, so you can see when things are getting hot. And then F10. Okay, as soon as I can pop my chutes, I should do it. It's too bad I don't have drogue chutes, but I'm pretty close. I'll only be a few kilometers off. Actually, I'm going to be landing very, very close to the island strip. The island runway. Oh my god, almost on it. That's great. Honestly, I could probably swim. That's incredible. I'm only maybe a few hundred meters away from being able to swim to shore. That's very swim. I mean, I can see the buildings. Yeah, well, there's my my own aero brake maneuvering. We are 400 meters up. So actually, that's probably a kilometer or so. Still feels good to get that close. If I had waited, could I have landed at the island? No, probably not. Thunk. Upright and everything? Cool. All right, let's recover the vessel. Total mission success. First try. Had to do a little bit of a ship rocket redesign. But, yeah, there we go. 215 science earned. Oh, yes. That is a lot of science. That is a lot of science. And then I recovered 96.7% value for about 10K because we landed so close. And Stelton gained experience. So the next milestone here is landing on the moon. But before I do that, bring a moonstone on the moon back to Kermit. I'll ask you all. So I could try to do the Moonstone mission, but to do the Moonstone mission, I'm going to need to send a satellite to do some surveying first. So let's, well, I have enough research to unlock almost 2 things, or almost 3 things, but I'll have to go with 2. So let's see, EV experiments. I'm just taking a look at all the options here. Storage units, experiment control stations, wheels and ladders, advanced flight control with landing modules. So the scout landing module here would be a pretty good one to land on the moon with. Aerodynamics could probably be ignored. Advanced construction is really nice, but a lot of it is robotics and hinges and stuff. So a lot of this is not necessarily mission critical for a moon landing. Propulsion systems is for mostly satellites. So the question I had here, which I'm not even sure if I can accomplish, where is my satellite analysis stuff? Is that... Oh, that might be scanner tech, yeah. So if you take a look here, here is a survey scanner, which is much further into the tech tree than I can afford. So my guess is I won't be able to do the rock recovery. But what I could try to do is, let's see about the time to do it. I have 10 years to do it, so I could accept this anyway. So let me accept the Moonstone and accept the Explore the Mud. There's also transmit or recover science data from space around Kerbal. I could do that basically for free. Science data from space around the moon. I could do that for basically free. So we have 3 missions I'm going to do. But I think we're going to try our Mun landing now. So in terms of a Mun landing, I absolutely will want electrics, because otherwise I have no way to generate electricity passively. So we're going to do that for sure. And then I have enough for one more, and I'm going to have you all vote on what that one more is. So we have miniaturization, which would be good for satellites. I'm just going to call it mini for short. We have space exploration, which would allow us to do experiment control stations. But I think there's no point. Well, there's not no point in getting that. There will be a point. So the way these work, if you're curious, you set up an experiment control station on a foreign body. Because I got electrics, I have photovoltaic panels, which will help to power up the experiment station. And then you run experiments on distant worlds, but the experiments that you run would need to be, like, here's a weather analyzer, which you would put on a world that had an atmosphere. There's also seismometers and stuff like that. So here's a seismometer. Here's a communications array that allows you to send that information back to the homeworld. Which one gives you the Scout Lander? The Scout Lander comes with advanced flight control. So miniaturization, space exploration. So what I'm trying to say is space exploration, because it has the experiment control station, is really cool, except for it's not useful until I have actual experiments to do. Then there is the advanced flight control. And then what else? We have aerodynamics and advanced construction. So advanced construction is a lot of advanced parts like nose cones, radial decouplers, hinges and servos and stuff like that. To be able to build more advanced stuff. It also has rover parts, but my first moon landing is almost certainly not going to be a rover. But, just a lander. Rovers come later. And then, last but not least, propulsion systems. Propulsion systems are for satellites. So there you go. There's the choice of 6. These propulsion systems are just for satellite propulsion. They're tiny little propulsion. All right, mission control. So the launch pad here, I could upgrade for unlimited weight. And yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy that. So now I have I'm not restricted by weight. It would have been nice to upgrade the R&D so that I could collect surface samples, but between the launch pad and the R&D, it was very clear which one would be more important going to the moon. The There's no point in getting the being able to upgrade or being able to collect soil samples if I can't actually physically get there. All right. So let's take a look at the VAT and see about. So it looks like advanced flight control is going to be the winner choice, but I'm going to have you all vote. So now I have an unlimited amount of weight that I can send on my launch pad, which is awesome. And I can support up to 255 parts, which is pretty awesome as well. All right, looks like advanced flight control is the winner. I'm just going to call it. So let's see what I got with that. What I got with that is the Scout Landing Module. Ideal for first colony modules on rough terrain. This actually might be overkill because it includes rudimentary workshop and construction facilities. This is part of the colonization mod. The Salamander command pod, the MK2 command pod, which would be really good to send a scientist to the moon. The 3-person reentry module, this place anywhere linear RCS port, the other RCS ports, the lander can, which I like, and then the advanced inline stabilizer, which is really nice for stability for rockets. So what we need to do is I need to bring up a KSP Delta V planner, and the reason being I need to know how much a mission from the MUN to Kerbin requires roughly 1,000 Delta V. Got it. All right, I'm trying to think about. So I could have them in a reentry module like this. What are the advanced? So this, I guess, this thing has a little bit of ablator, so it doesn't burn up. But I don't like that. Oh, I could have a ship like this. That looks real weird. I think what I'm going to do on this mission is only bring 2. I'm going to bring a pilot and a scientist. Jeb and Bob. All right. Parachute. Other parachutes. Oh, so this ship here will have the name of Mac. The first MUN lander. All right. Well, congrats, Mac. All right, what else are we going to want? We are landing on the moon, so we're going to want a Science Junior. Thanks for the bits, Mac. It's going to fly like a truck. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that, actually. So the other issue that I have here, the other thing I'm worried about is if I add a service bay, this thing is going to be very tall. I'd like to add a service bay to keep my stuff protected, but I have to consider how tall this craft is, because if it's too tall, it's going to be really unwieldy. Thank you for watching Kerbal Space Program Colonization, which originally aired live on Twitch. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next episode, or perhaps an upcoming stream. Farewell.